In today's video, I'm going to be talking about how I saved and invested $100,000 by age 28. I can't believe that I'm making this video. I'm really excited to make it because I love talking about personal finance and I have a lot that I want to share, but it also makes me nervous. So there's a couple of things that I want to say before we get into the video. The first is that this is me simply sharing my own personal experience. This is not financial advice. This is not prescriptive. This is not where you should be by a certain age. I don't want you to be comparing yourself to my situation. That's the first thing that I wanted to acknowledge. And the second thing is that I want to acknowledge that I do have a lot of privilege and there's a lot of things that have helped me get to where I am today. And I'll name them. Let's go through them and just get it out on the table because I think it's really important for me to acknowledge my privilege. Growing up, I was always well cared for. My parents were well off. They both had successful careers. My father passed away when I was younger, so I was only 6 when he passed away. I don't exactly know the details of that, but I know that, you know, he left us some money, but I didn't have 2 parents working growing up. But I was well cared for, never were wanting for much. The way that I grew up and my family situation provides me a lot of privilege. My parents paid for my entire university, so I am university educated. I got a degree. That is something that really helped me with my entire career journey and my financial journey. A couple of other things, my parents gifted me a vehicle when I was in high school. I still currently drive that vehicle, so I've been driving that vehicle for 13 years now, which means that I haven't had, you know, any monthly car payments. The only expenses I've had is maintenance on the vehicle, gas, and insurance. That vehicle was gifted to me, and not having the monthly transportation costs really helped me keep my expenses relatively low. Born in North America gave me a certain level of privilege, and I just want to acknowledge that before getting into this because it's a bit hard to talk about something and to be giving tips and advice on things where I know that not everyone is starting at the same point. If you're starting from a point where you're in debt and you need to be, you know, you need to get to 0 and then you can start saving and investing, that's going to be a very different journey than mine. The world is unfair and I really wish that I could give everyone a level playing field. I wish that everyone had access to education and be able to go to university without going into significant debt. That's where we're starting, and that's where I just want to have a little acknowledgement, and then we can get into the fun stuff, which is sharing about my journey and sharing 5 tips and 5 things that I believe really helped me to get to this point. I have a list on my phone of tips that I wanted to share that have allowed me to get to this point, and I am 29 now, so I'm a little bit past the invest $100,000 by age 28. At this point now, I do have a little bit more than that invested, but you know, for the sake of the video and for the title and the thumbnail, $100,000 is a really nice round number, and I was able to do that by age 28. So, you know, my money story has continued past that point, but that was a huge milestone for me. Another thing is that it's important for you, depending on your lifestyle, depending on what's going on, for you to have an emergency fund and to have cash that is liquid, that is not tied up in investments. I don't want all of your money to be in investments. Something important to note is that yes, I have $100,000 invested, but that's not all of the money that I have. I have a fully funded emergency fund where if I am to lose my job, I'm covered for 6 months of living expenses. I have other liquid cash that if, you know, something happens, I don't have to pull money out of my investments. So it's really important that the money that you invest is money that you are investing for the long run, and that you don't need to touch that money, because that, if you pull out the money too soon, it negates the entire purpose of what investing is. You want to invest for the long run. I do have a whole video about investing for beginners. If you're interested in like what I'm investing in, how I invest, I would check out that first video that I did. And if you're just interested, if you don't know anything about investing, I'm not really going to go into any specifics about my investments. I'm more so going to share tips on how I was able to invest so much money by a relatively young age. So I have 5 tips, so I think we'll just go into them. So the first one that I have is, this is a necessary evil, this is a necessary step. It is facing your finances head on. For me, this happened at age 26. I always knew a little bit about money. Like I said, my parents set me up with a pretty good understanding of personal finance, but I was never really interested in it. I never really had interest and motivation to really like make a lot of money so that I could put away and I could invest and I could set myself up. And I'm not sure why. I think this learning came to me just at the time that I really needed it. And the first book that I read was I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi. That is the #1 personal finance book that I suggest that you read as a beginner, or if you're on your, personal finance journey. Read that book. It will change your life. It changed my life. It changed the way that I looked at money. It changed, I saw it now more as a tool, as a way that I can build the life that I want. And whatever your priorities are in life, you can use money as a tool for that. Something that is really, really important to me is safety. I deal with mental health struggles. I deal with depression and anxiety, and that has always given me a sense of anxiety around work. And I've been in my career for 5 years now, and it hasn't hindered me in that way, but I'm always nervous that there's gonna be a time that maybe I'm not able to work. And so for me, having financial safety was really important, so that if I am experiencing mental health challenges, money isn't something that I am actively worrying about. So everyone is gonna have their own motivation for what drives them to get their finances in order, but that was really the driver for me. And once I started learning about money and investing, I just felt like I was absorbing all of this knowledge. It felt really good as a young woman to be learning about this, because it felt like I was gaining knowledge and power in a certain way, where I was going to be able to be self-sufficient, and I was able to manage my money, make decisions about my money, plan with my money, dream with my money. And it honestly changed my life when I went on this personal finance journey. And at age 26 was the first time where I really looked at my finances head on. I started tracking my spending, what I was spending every month. You probably don't know how much you're spending every month, and you might guess, and you're probably wrong. So start tracking it. Just, face the facts, look at your accounts. If you have debt, how much debt are you in? If you haven't started investing yet, look into the power of compound interest in investing, and look at what you could be missing out on if you're relatively young and you haven't started investing yet. The best thing that you can do is invest as much money as possible as early as possible. And once you learn those numbers, and once you see what you're missing out on, it's really hard to ignore. So my first tip is face this head on. Look up YouTube videos, get some books, listen to some podcasts, face your finances is the first thing. Like, knowledge is power, and you can't change something that you don't know what's going on, And so that would be my very first tip. My second tip is to never have just one stream of income. This is hard. We live in a capitalist society where our jobs are demanding, and sometimes having more than one job, you don't want that. It's hard, But for me, again, it's about a sense of security and safety. You never know what's gonna happen in your job, and so it's really important for you to have more than one stream of income. For myself, I have a day job. I work at a marketing agency. I work in social media. That's my 9 to 5. I earn a good wage. I feel happy in that. I'm able to have benefits, but then I'm also a content creator on the side, and I'm able to earn income there. And, I have flexibility there. I can spend as much time or as little time as I want doing that. And it allows me some extra luxuries, and it allowed me to get ahead, really. If I didn't have my side hustle, I don't think that I would, well, I know that I wouldn't have been able to invest $100,000 by the age of 28. I know that wouldn't have been possible. So anything that you can do, if you can get a side hustle, or, everyone has skills that they can monetize, and it might take you a couple of tries to find something that you really enjoy, but having multiple streams of income is going to be massive with just getting ahead on your goals. So that is my tip number 2. My third tip is you need to prioritize your investments over your wants. This is really hard, and this is really hard in a day and age on social media that we see people taking luxury vacations and buying designer bags, and we're inundated with like influencers, which I know that I'm an influencer, like I'm part of the problem, but I hope that I try to put out content that is going to be helpful rather than hinder. But we are just inundated with like what we should have in our life and what lifestyle we should be living, and this lifestyle is out of reach for most of us. So For me, a practical thing here is like, I have never purchased a designer purse, and I want a designer purse. I have wanted a designer purse since I was 16, and I've actively chosen not to get one. I think I might buy myself a designer purse for my 30th birthday, but that's beside the point. You have to make sacrifices. If you want to save and invest $100,000, there's a lot of things that you're going to have to say no to. I feel really fortunate that I've been able to travel. I've been able to have a really great lifestyle, all the while meeting my financial goals. So again, that comes back to a lot of privilege, a lot of, you know, things in my life that have set me up to be able to live a good life and also invest a lot of money. So it's not something that you can, you know, will yourself into having enough income to do everything in your life, but I really have maintained a lifestyle that is manageable for me. And I could have spent my money on a lot of different things instead of investments, but I knew that I had an advantage and I had a superpower of being young and knowing about this. And again, knowing the power of compound interest and how my money right now is going to be worth so much more when I put it into the stock market and wait 30 years than if I was doing these luxury travels or buying designer bags or whatever it is for you. And I don't want you to think that you need to deprive yourself, but you need to make that decision. When you're deciding to buy a designer bag, you're deciding to not invest $3,000, and you just have to be okay with that decision. You have to think about it. A lot of people don't think that when they're purchasing things, they're actually missing out on an investment opportunity because they're not knowledgeable about investment. So my third tip is to really learn about investing, and you have to make really difficult decisions. The car thing for me, I am planning to buy a new car soon here because I feel like it's time, and it's something that I have, you know, thought about, and I'm choosing. When I purchase a new car, I know that I'm going to be choosing to spend this much money on a down payment and this much in monthly payments instead of investing. But for me, I've been on this like really intense investing journey for a couple of years, and it's just, you know, the decision that I'm making. And for my car, you know, spending 13 years driving the same vehicle that's a 2003 Toyota Corolla, I see a lot of my peers having new cars and having really nice cars, and I've actively chosen to not do that because I've prioritized investing over getting a new car. And so it's all about choice. We all have choice of like what we want. And if you're watching this video, I hope that you just realize how much choice and freedom you have to choose what you want in your life. No one else has to live your life. No one else sees your bank account as well. A lot of people that we see on social media, they're in debt. You know, we don't know what someone's finances are. We only see what they choose to like put out into the world. We all have personal choice, and we're all on our own journey, and we are the ones that are in control, and we make up our lifestyle, right? And we make up our financial life as well. Like, you have a lot of choice within it, and some people have more choice than others. For example, I have a lot more choice because of the privileges that I have. Other people are working on a really small margin. If you don't have enough income to even cover your bills, that's a very different story, and my heart goes out to those people, and that would be a very hard existence. And I am grateful and privileged that I've never had to experience that, but that is a different situation than if you have disposable income above and beyond paying your bills. You have choice of what to do with that income. I've chosen to invest that money aggressively. Other people may choose to spend it. Okay, so my tip number 4 is auto investments. So this is something that I learned in Ramit's book, and this will, again, change your life. When you get a paycheck, you know, and you've got money left over, you've got $500 left over, it's hard to make the decision, I'm gonna invest this money, instead of, I'm gonna go shopping, or I'm gonna buy this that I want. It's hard to make that decision. So take away that decision and put on auto investments. When I read the book, I Will Teach You to Be Rich, it talks about, you know, automate your investments so then you don't have to worry about them. Then you can live your life. Have your auto investments, then if you have $200 left over after that, after your bills are paid and your investments are made, then you can go shopping, and then you have a clear conscience, and you're achieving your goals while still living a lifestyle that you enjoy. And that's how I think that I've really been able to make this work, is that I don't feel like I have really sacrificed my quality of life. There's things that I have sacrificed, like I've sacrificed not getting a new car, you know, not doing the luxury trips or the designer bags. I don't know why I keep talking, those are the only things that I can really think of. But I don't feel as though my quality of life has suffered, and that's because I've set it up in a way where my investments are taken care of, and then I'm able to have choice with what I do with the extra money. Tips would be to start small. Start with $50 every paycheck, goes automatically into your investments, and then gradually go up from there until it starts hurting. And by hurting, I mean, I have put my auto investments on to the point where when it's coming out of my paycheck, I'm like nervous that I'm not gonna have enough money in my account. So then if you're a bit nervous, then you maybe need to take it down a little bit, but play with it and push it until you feel nervous, you know, like try to put as much disposable income into your investments as opposed to just spending it. So my last tip, it's to follow financial influencers. So I will leave some of my favorites in the description box. There's tons out there, and there's something for everyone. Like, not all finance influencers are the same. People have different paths, you know, different methods, different mindsets, and you'll find someone that resonates with you. But, you know, just be aware and just start consuming content. See what other people's situations are. There's some finance influencers that I follow, and like, I cannot wrap my head around how much income they make. You know, I follow financial influencers that are in the US and they make $300,000 US per year. That is not my life. You know, like, I can't even imagine how much choice and freedom I would have within that. There's always gonna be people that have more and always people that are gonna have less, and that's just how it is. But financial influencers, you know, you need to surround yourself with people who are talking about money, and sometimes that's really hard to do like in person, so that's why I think online influencers can be a really great way to do that. Lifestyle is a huge influence on how we're able to make progress in our money goals, and if you're surrounding yourself with people in your life that, you know, don't have their financial shit together, if they're spending, if they're living well beyond their means, that's gonna rub off on you. So pay attention to who you're surrounding yourself with and who you're taking in as influences. You want people around you that are gonna push you and they want what's best for you. So that's my last tip, is to just like follow people that are good influences, and then in your real life, try and curate your circle as well. Okay, so I think that that's all I have. I would love to make more videos about personal finance and about investing, but I need y'all to tell me what you want to see. So let me know in the comments what types of topics you want me to talk about, or if there's anything in this video that you want me to talk further about. If you made it to the end, I wanted to thank you for listening to me talk about this topic. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you got something from this. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, I would love to have you. And I'll catch you in my next one. Bye.